Hey friends, welcome back to Homemade Homestead. My name is Rachel if you're new here to my kitchen. Tonight we're going to be making sushi for dinner. Now this is like an at-home version. It's not using raw fish. It's very kid-friendly, but it really curbs the appetite, or curbs our desire, I guess you could say, for that sushi that you might get out at a nice restaurant. But it's kind of fun to make, especially with kids. They love to get in there and roll up all the sushi. So the inspiration I got from this was from the Trim Healthy Table cookbook. They do a really fun like sushi night there for their family, and they show you some low carb options or some low fat, higher in carb options. So I took inspiration from them, but today's is gonna be gluten-free, but it's not gonna be low carb or low fat. But if you're looking for something like that, definitely check out their book. This is not sponsored at all. I just am really enjoying cooking from their book. First, we're gonna start off with some rice. So I'm gonna be using some jasmine rice, but feel free to use brown rice, white rice, whatever you wanna use. And I'm actually just gonna follow the directions on the back of this. And we want it to be a little bit more moist to kind of stick together. So it says on here to add a fourth of a cup more water. So let me get this going on the stove first. I'm gonna do 2 cups of rice to about 3.5 cups of water. We're just gonna cover this and bring it up to a boil. Now that the rice is cooking, I'm gonna get started on my veggies that are gonna go inside the sushi. We're gonna do carrots and cucumbers. You could totally change this up too. You could add avocado. Yeah, you can totally get creative with this. So let's get cutting up these veggies. All right, my rice is boiling. So on the instructions, it says just to turn it down to low and let it go for 15 minutes. So for the carrots, I like to take off both ends, the top and the bottom end, and then I like to peel them. So I want my carrots to be really thin so that it'll be easy to roll up the sushi. So you could totally do this. You take your peeler and you just go like this to make them really nice thin pieces. So that's what I'm gonna do next. If you don't feel like going through that, you could try to make thin strips. Then when I get down to a really thin spot, I just ask my kids if they want a carrot stick. Nothing goes to waste. All right, my 15 minutes is up. So for the rice, I'm just gonna turn off the burner. And the instructions say just to leave it sit there for 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna fluff it. Does anybody else love the smell of cucumbers? It's just so refreshing. It reminds me of summertime. So with these, I just cut off both ends and I like to peel them. And then I'm gonna cut these just in thin strips. I'm not gonna do like I did with the carrots. Kind of like this, they're super thin. All right, so to my cooked rice that's still warm, I'm gonna add about 3-ish tablespoons of some rice vinegar, and then a little sprinkle of this stevia powder. This is pure stevia powder. If you don't wanna use this, you could totally use sugar or whatever, but you're looking for that vinegary, sweet rice to make this. So this pure stevia powder is super strong. So I am doing like a 1/16 or so of the pure stevia. It's just to give it that little teeny bit of sweetness. I also added a little bit of salt to my rice, and then give it a try and adjust the flavors until you're satisfied with it. I also have a bowl of cold water, which you'll see in a second why it's nice to have that. Then I also have my carrots that we thinly shaved, and then my cucumbers that we really thinly sliced. Then I have 3 cans of tuna. This just depends on how many you're gonna make, but this is gonna be like our fish filling, and you can change this up. They also talk about in the book like egg whites or doing canned salmon, but this is what we're gonna use tonight. This was tuna that was packed in water. I just drained it. And then this is the nori or seaweed that we're going to use. These I get from Costco. They come in a great big pack. You get like 10 of them. And we like them because they're smaller sheets and they stay crisp. Let me show you. You can totally use the big sheets of nori if you want to. The problem with those we found is they were kind of chewy, so we like these because they're super crisp. So this is what they look like. They're quite small, but let me show you how we use these kinds. I just have a sushi mat. I just found this actually at Walmart. They have them all over the place. And then I like to lay a couple of them just right next to each other, just like this. So it makes a bigger sheet. But you know, you could definitely use that big sheet of nori. It's going to be a lot easier if you use the bigger sheet, but we just liked the flavor of these small little ones. So now that I've got my seaweed all lined up here, I'm gonna go in with some of my rice. And this is where the water comes in handy. So I'm gonna dip my fingers in the water, and then I'm gonna push down my rice. It helps with the stickiness of it. Then I come in with some carrot strips.
Why?
Some cucumber, and then I lay some tuna on top. Now I'm going to just push it down and roll it over. Now play around with it a little bit because it does take a minute to get used to it, but I like to squeeze it and then kind of hold my hand and keep on rolling. And as I pull up that mat, there it is. Not too shabby. And now I'm gonna just cut them in a few pieces. Right, and there is one of the rolls. I love to dip this in some wasabi, but it is super spicy, so be careful if you try that. Or also some coconut aminos or liquid aminos. So here's my wasabi. I just like to put a very thin, like super thin layer right onto it, because this stuff is so strong. But I really like the heat, just like that. Alright friends, there we have it. Some delicious sushi for dinner. It's totally kid friendly. Actually, my kids are just chomping down on it right now. So I hope you guys will give this a try and let me know down in the comments below if you do. And have a good one. Talk to you again real soon. Bye bye now.